What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Yes, it is a bullet journaling video. It is the first time that I've done one of these in maybe the entire last year. I'm not sure. Kind of fell off the bandwagon with them, but here we are again. So the first spread of 2023 was going back and looking at my reads for 2022. So I kind of like to break everything down by genre and just kind of reflect on my reading year. Next was a spread I honestly didn't go back and look at as often as maybe I should have, but it was the books that I was reading this past year. I would just fill in one of the little book shapes on the shelves that I made with washi tape. I think it's a super cute spread. I just didn't really utilize it as much as I should have. Then we had a kind of interior design inspo kind of spread. I don't know. It's really fun to kind of play around and get inspired with images that I see on Pinterest and kind of paste them in and get an idea of how I might want to redecorate at the start of the year. Then we have my first monthly wrap-up. There will be one of these for every single month of the year. This is probably my favorite spread to do every month. I only read like 3 or 4 books in January, so there's not really a lot going on in this spread, but they do get cuter, I will say, as time goes on. Then we had a little like YouTube updates kind of thing, like a 1-year update, which I thought was kind of fun. It's creative, it kind of keeps me on track, and it's a fun little snapshot that I can have and then compare to like when I do it in my 2024 journal. Obviously, like the numbers and everything will be really different, so this is just kind of for me to look back on and kind of get excited about YouTube. Then one of my favorite book spreads. I really should have done more of these like individual, like highlighting a particular book kind of spread, because I thought this was so much fun. This was for Hellbent, which was the sequel to Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and I love creating a nice kind of spooky, dark academic spread, so I really did like that one. I think I was being a little bit lazy in February. This is definitely not my cutest monthly spread, but you know, it gets the job done. Usually I think what I did from here on out was just print out the book cover and then give a little, not necessarily summary, but just kind of like my thoughts on the book, and then I use those gold stars to show the rating. Next was a fun one, spring break 2023. Boyfriend and I went down to Dallas, and yeah, it was a really fun trip. We went to the Dallas Zoo. That was one of kind of the main things we did while we were there. We have kind of this, I don't know if you'd call it like a bucket list kind of thing, but different places that we go, different states, we always like to check out the zoo or the aquarium and just kind of see how it's different than our local ones. So that was day 1 was the zoo, and then day 2 was the aquarium. So a little tip, if you are going somewhere that has a map, definitely keep one of those maps, because it's super fun to like cut it up later. It'll make your spread look really interesting and cute. So I did not draw all those little illustrations. That was just from the aquarium's map, which I thought was really cool. Later that day, we did visit like an independent bookshop in Terabang Books. It was very cool. I ended up buying In the Distance and Sharks in the Time of Saviors, as you can see. I have read In the Distance, and it was a 5-star. It was amazing. I think it made it into my top like 2023 best books video, but I have not read the other book yet. Then we stopped into La La Land Cafe, where I got a lavender matcha for the first time, and it was delicious. I will say, the photo of it looks really cool. Now, once I like shook it up to mix all the flavors, it turned an ugly gray color, but you know, for the photo, it was pretty cute. Then for my March wrap-up, I tried something a little bit different. So I made the books in color and then the background black and white. I'm not sure if I'm obsessed with it, but it was just kind of a different thing to do for this spread. And then for whatever reason, I did a little April page with like a calendar. Not sure why I did that this month randomly, and none of the other months. Not really sure. Thought I was trying something new, but then I didn't really stick with it. For April, I read some good books in April. I had kind of a Joan Didion phase where I was listening to a few of her audiobooks, which are amazing. And then one of my top reads, probably my favorite memoir, I think, of 2023 was Yeonmi Park's In Order to Live, down there in the bottom right corner. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Then this is where I started making my expense trackers really cute. So you will see in April and May here back to back. I basically decided to print out the photos of the things that I had bought that month that were kind of exciting. Books, clothes, miscellaneous, whatever, and kind of make a spread cute instead of it just being, because it's an expense tracker. It's like numbers focused, which is the part that you can't really see. But I was trying to find a way to make it a little more fun and a little more colorful. And so, yeah, that's a little tip for you if you journal. And then in May, boyfriend and I visited the salt plains. You can dig for these selenite crystals. It was really cool. And then after that, we found this tiny little secluded beach. And I sat and read my book, and it was just a lovely day. Then for May, I did read some good books in May. I think I read my first Mary Oliver in May. Which was amazing. I love her. She's one of my new favorite authors. And another Yeonmi Park book. Some Joy Harjo. I'm going through her entire oeuvre right now, so this was probably in the thick of it where I was really reading a lot of her poetry. Braiding Sweetgrass was so good. That was another one that made it to my top books of 2023. The way that she sees the world, her worldview is just so special and so unique, and I highly recommend that one. Then I think this was my first reading around the world spread that I did. I just chose a symbol or like an image that kind of went with the vibe of the country that I read from. It's a whole like reading challenge thing that I'm doing. I will try to link some videos. If you guys have missed out, I've got a part 1 and a part 2 so far up on my channel where I'm kind of going in and reading books from other countries and reviewing them. I feel like I've leveled up as a reader in some way. I don't know. And then another way to make your like travel a little bit more exciting, instead of just making a list on your phone of the things that you need to bring, I made a cute little Georgia packing list, because Georgia, our trip for summer 2023, is what these next couple of spreads are. I had a lot of fun making these spreads, of course, because I made a lot of memories. I love printing out those photos and kind of putting them all together and kind of documenting everything. So I've got a couple of plane tickets, or boarding passes, I guess, and then like a parking pass that I saved. Our main thing that we did when we flew into Atlanta was the Georgia Aquarium. That was immediately the first thing we did. We landed, we rented our car, and then we immediately drove to the aquarium. And it did not disappoint. It was awesome. I loved the beluga whales and the whale sharks and just all the things that we don't have at our local aquarium. We had some peach pizza. Since we were in Georgia, we knew we had to eat a peach at some point in time. And so we were super tired from our travel day and walking around at the aquarium for a couple of hours. So we ended up just door dashing a pizza to the hotel. We had these free maps that they were giving out at our hotel down at the front desk of Savannah, because we ended up driving to Savannah the next day. And then I think I put stars on places that we visited. Jekyll Island was great. We loved the beach. We loved seeing the little sea turtle rescue center. We ate at the wharf. We had some yummy shrimp and key lime pie. Driftwood Beach is what you're seeing on this spread, and highly recommend if you're driving to the coast, the Georgia coast. Driftwood Beach was really incredible. We saw lots of wildlife, lots of little crabs scuttling around, lots of birds. We ended up riding horses on the beach. It was really awesome. And then we rented a Surrey. Like, what the heck? This was one of those like random things. A lot of people were getting around the island on bikes. And I don't know if we saw one of the Surrey. I don't remember exactly why we decided on a 2-seater Surrey instead of like 2 bikes. But it was very fun. Oh, and then Cumberland Island. You actually have to take a ferry to get to it. You definitely need to like book tickets in advance, but it was really cool because it's obviously an island, so it's very isolated, but there are wild horses that are roaming around. There was an alligator, the closest we've ever been to an alligator. We were literally like as close as it looks like we were in the photo. There was only ever like one family who lived there, and they built a big mansion, but now it's just kind of a touristy spot. It's like all gutted and just the walls are standing. I think it was called Dungeness Ruins, and you just kind of walk around. There's horses just chilling, walking around and eating the grass, and I don't know, it was really cool. have another expense tracker. Again, I was kind of leaning into making them cute rather than so focused on the numbers. Stickers certainly help. I will try to link some of my favorite Etsy shops below where I've got some really cute stickers that always kind of help your spreads look extra cute. And then I was trying something new with my June wrap up. This was different. Obviously for summer, like it's kind of weird to do like a black and white spread, but I don't know. I had some like random papers that I had kind of ripped up and was trying something a little bit new, a little bit different. Oh, and then I did get to do an author signing at the end of July, which is really fun, for Crying in H Mart with Michelle Zahner. She came to the public library, and it was so much fun. There was 500 people there, and I got my book signed with my name. I got it all personalized and everything. She's so funny. I loved it. It was a really fun night. Then I read a few more translated works in July. The summer book, I think, was for Sweden. The Blind Earthworm was for Thailand, I believe. August was actually the first time that I used my bullet journal kind of like a diary, and I just wrote about like some just stressful things that were happening. It's fun every now and then to just kind of word vomit. August was another good month for my Reading Around the World challenge. Let's see, I read for, I think The Blind Owl was for Iran. Magdalena was for Colombia. Something that I've done on a couple of these past expense tracker spreads is the month. I will use like an alcohol-based marker and write out the month and then individually cut the letters out. It does take a little bit of time, but there's something about it that just, it makes it look more 3D. Kind of a fun little thing that I was experimenting with. And then starting in September, I started doing something different with my book wrap-up spreads. I was putting all of the books on one side of the page and then my thoughts on the other side of the page. And I don't know, it's different, but I liked it. It's a little bit less cluttered looking than doing like one book at a time, like putting the summary or my thoughts next to the book. Then in October, I had the opportunity to go down to southwest Oklahoma to a place called Quartz Mountain for a writing workshop. So that was really fun. It was like 3 or 4 days. It was pretty intense. It was like 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening of like class. So it was like 6 hours a day. Brian Turner was the workshop leader. He's a poet. I've read some of his poetry now. It was really cool. And just Quartz Mountain in general is beautiful. It's so incredibly tranquil. And then we did stop at like a safari on the way home, which was really cool. So we got to see some lemurs and reptiles and little baby kangaroos. This Reading Around the World spread is not maybe as cute as the previous ones. I just decided to do flags instead, but I was kind of rushing through it, so it's not the cutest spread. Then in October, of course, October is, the spooky reads month. All of these I really enjoyed. I love kind of saving up all of those spooky reads and then cramming them all into one month, into October, because there's just such an exciting lead up to October because I know I have all of these fun books. November was a pretty good reading month. There was a DNF. American Psycho was a DNF. I was so annoyed because I love the film, but I did not love the book. I didn't have the patience for all of the name dropping and all the labels and the designers, and it was too much. Like, I get that it's a satire, but it was too much. Then jumping right into the December books, I ended up finishing 1Q84. Very exciting. I've been reading that one since April, I think, is when I started it. And then I'm thinking of ending things. I don't know. I was super disappointed by that one. I think because it was so overhyped. I was really expecting it to be amazing. And it was not. It was not good. And then, of course, at the end of the year, you gotta do like a 2023 wrapped. So this spread is just books, like best and worst books. And then I think the next one is all the other stuff that's not books. So we have like YouTube stuff, music, like my Spotify wraps, like my top 5 artists, loans. I finally paid off my student loans. That was one of the biggest things to happen to me this year. It was awesome. So awesome. That was my 2023 in a nutshell. Definitely stay tuned because I'll do like an unboxing of my 2024 journal and some stationery coming up soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.